Hello.
You look gorgeous, girl.
Thank you. Yeah,
Um,
good. I like your shirt.
what was it?
I like your shirt.
I'm making a statement.
Yes, we like that.
I've decided I'm just gonna buy a bunch of these shirts and make statements without having to say anything.
It's a good idea.
That's my new thing. That's my new thing I'm into now. All right,
Love it.
let me get this set up over here and then we can just hit go when we're ready.
Okay.
Is there a glare? No. Okay. All right. So I'm actually just going to pause the recording while we talk so that you don't have to edit this part. And now we're going to go live. All right. Hello. Oh my goodness. Welcome to episode 4 of Rich and Resilient Conversations with Rich and Resilient Women. I am so excited. We missed last week because there's been so much going on in my world with the Rich and Resilient Regulated launch, connecting to my clients, helping them get set up for success. I've had a lot of new private clients coming on, so super busy last week, and my world just did not allow for an episode. But that's how things go, right? Like we have to be flexible in our business, and that's something I love to model for my clients is like you need to put the human first. You have to put yourself first. That's the most important thing. But here we are today with episode 4, and I am going to be joined by Emily Kirby, who is absolutely freaking amazing. And we are going to be talking about how to let go of mom guilt so that you can confidently build your business. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Emily on. Hello, let's see if it worked. It didn't. Hold on. It takes about 2 or 3 times to click the button. This has been the experience. Did we get it that time? There we go.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hi, Katie. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we have a little bit of a kickback here. Hold on, let me
Oh,
fix that. Okay, perfect. This should be better now. Emily, I'm so happy that you are joining us today because not only have we been working together for like, I don't know, over a year now, but who you are, what you've built, the beliefs that you hold, and the way that you lead yourself as a mom and a woman in business is just like so fucking inspiring. It's empowering.
aw.
And I cannot wait for everyone here to meet you and see what you do and the way you've actually built a business with 2 toddlers, right? Like 2 under 2, I think. Is that right?
Yep. Yep.
Like,
Crazy.
I mean, I have an 11-year-old. I'm a single mom. Like, you're not a single mom. I'm a single mom, but it's mom life in general. If you're here and you're watching right now and you're a mom, let us know
Yes,
because like
please.
there are just running your business is different. It is just a different experience when you are a mother. Now that doesn't mean that you have less of an advantage or more of a privilege or anything. It's just different. And so we
Yeah.
have to understand the mindset and the lifestyle and the business structure that's going to support us in being the mom that we want to be. And I know that's what you're really passionate about, Emily,
Mhm.
and like helping women kind of break away from the rules that they've been told around how they have to show up as a mom, how they have to be as a woman. And like,
Yeah.
you already know, I'm right there. I'm right there with you on that. I mean, you were in my mastermind rebellious. So like breaking all the fucking rules, like we're just not here
Yep.
for it. So that's enough from me. I want everybody to know who you are, what you do, and how amazing you are. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Emily. Why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone about yourself?
Okay. Well, hi, I'm Emily. I'm so excited to be here. Like Katie said, we've been working together for like over a year now, and Katie has just helped me so incredibly much with my business, but also just like me as a human being. I always have said that like anytime I talk about Katie, I know this is me introducing myself, but I just have to say this too. It's like anytime I talk about Katie or like, see her stuff, I just feel like she is so much more than a business coach. She really takes into consideration like who you are as a person and how that affects your business too. And like you've really just helped me like completely transform my life and my business. So I have a special spot for you in my heart.
You have a special spot in mine too, and I just love you.
Yeah, I love you too. But yeah, so I got started in the online coaching world in 2020. I'm type 1 diabetic, and I got pregnant with my daughter in 2019, and I started just kind of sharing about my pregnancy on Instagram. I had kind of been like an influencer type thing before that, really just like sharing my life and stuff. And so naturally, of course, it felt very normal for me to share my pregnancy. And as a high risk pregnancy and type 1 diabetes, there's all sorts of factors that go into it. So really just shared that and got a ton of feedback. Really a lot of people like kind of thanking me for sharing my journey and sharing, things that like nobody really knew about and all of that. And through doing that, I realized like, maybe this is something that I could like help people with now. So I decided to get my health coaching certification. And then I started my business, like I said, in 2020. I started at kind of the beginning of 2020, but really didn't sign any clients or make any money towards the end of 2020. And then I also got pregnant with my son in 2020. So it was a little crazy, but started my business when my daughter was 9 months. And then I grew that business to over 6 figures while raising 2 kids under 2 in about 16 months or so. And through doing that was kind of what made me, I had that first business through COVID while raising my 2 kids under 2. We had just sold our first home and we were living in a small apartment. We didn't really have any friends or family around us or anything. My mom lived near us, but we didn't get to see her a ton. And it was just really, really hard time in my life. And having my business just really helped me feel like I had more purpose outside of just being a mom. And that was something that I had struggled with since the day I became a mom. Like it just felt, and it had kind of been decided that I would stay home with my daughter. And I just felt like I needed more. Like being home with my daughter and raising her is amazing. And I had wanted to be a mom my entire life. And I honestly like dreamt about being a stay-at-home mom, because I think before you do it, you have this kind of idea of what you think it's going to be like. And for me, when I actually got to that place, it was very, very different. It was very isolating. It was very lonely. It was very repetitive, kind of mundane things, doing the same thing every single day, it felt like. So, like I said, my business just really kind of just gave me that purpose that I felt like I needed. And so as I was growing that, I just realized that, I loved helping my T1D community, and I loved the freedom that gave me. But I also got to a point too, because I live with type 1 diabetes, that it kind of became a lot with helping, coach people and living with it. Like it was just diabetes all the time. It kind of is already like that anyways when you live with this disease. So it got to be a little bit overwhelming. And I also realized that like I really enjoyed the process of like building my business and just figuring out what works for me and what didn't. And part of that, especially as a mom, was trying to figure out a way that like my business could work for me. Like one of my first coaches, who is an amazing coach, I was really kind of trying to build my business the way that she built hers. She's a multi 7-figure business owner and has no kids though. And there's just a very big difference there. And so I realized that there were things I had to do differently. There were things I had to change. There were just honestly expectations that I had to let go of or change altogether. And so that just kind of really empowered me to want to show other women, and in particular other moms, that like you can do this too. Like it doesn't, if you're in the coaching space at all, that there's like literally coaches out there for pretty much everything in the entire world. Like everything.
Thank God, right? Like,
I know, right?
people
Like,
like to say the market's saturated. It's like, no, like there's somebody for everybody. And that's
yeah,
like, niching is so amazing because we get to speak directly to these people. Like, it's so
right.
exciting to think about how there's a match for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. And like that's the cool part too, is that like, there's so many different coaches for like different areas of life, like, health coaching, business coaching, fitness coaching, whatever it is. But then within that, there's so many different personalities and people that it's like, even if like business coaching, there are so many business coaches out there, but like it's still possible for people to make a business just by being themselves, because you're going to attract people that really relate to you and your personality and kind of the way that you do things, versus another business coach who also has a successful business but is just a different person.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that whole process just really inspired me to want to help other moms, want to help other women start their own business, and just kind of show like what's possible, and the fact that like you don't have to do it a certain way. There are so many different ways to run an online business, and so many people can be successful in all of these different ways. And just figuring out how to do that and support women through that. And also just a big thing that I realized, honestly, probably since I started working with you, was more of the mindset piece of all of this and kind of how that plays into it. And I've always said, like, from the beginning, that starting my business was like the biggest self-development, like inner journey, like discovering process about myself that I have ever been on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that comes
I
up with that.
I just love that. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the first program that you came in with me was Ascension. And so Ascension has now the model of Ascension has been folded into Rich, Resilient, and Regulated. But like, you were introduced to shadow work. And like, if you want to reveal your shadows, start a freaking business. Who here feels that like deep in their soul that like their business has been a fucking spiritual awakening, like one
Yeah.
on top of the other? But here's the thing, is like most people won't choose this path. Most people will not choose to be an entrepreneur. Most people would rather choose to get a paycheck and have the safety of a career and health insurance and all the things, especially moms, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh my God, I need to make sure that the money's coming in every week. I'm going to go and report to work. I'm going to come home. I'm going to have that. And that's the life I choose. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But then there are people like us. And I want to know who this is resonating with. Go ahead and hit the heart on the little side right now if you feel this. But like people like us who choose a different path, who choose it because we're called to it. It's not even a fucking choice. It's like, I have to do this. Like when you were talking about that, you knew that this business was the thing that was going to give your life purpose, that motherhood wasn't your only purpose in life, that you were meant to do more, that there was a calling on yourself. Like if you feel like you have a calling for this work, to serve the collective, to make an impact in this world, to speak on stages, to do things that most people won't do, then it's literally not a choice. It's a calling. And you have to move towards it, because when you don't, it feels like you are not being true to yourself. It feels like we're out of alignment, because we are, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, Emily, like for everybody here who's watching, if whether you're just getting started or you've been doing this for a while, being a mom with two kids, especially when you were starting your business, you're pregnant with one child, like, were there people in your life who thought you were batshit crazy for doing what you were doing? And how did you, like, what kind of mindset work and what kind of self leadership did you have to use to navigate those times if that happened?
Yeah, so like even like when I started my health coaching business, I remember like sitting down on my couch and kind of telling my husband about the idea. And he's always been very supportive, but he's very much so like he's like a logistical person. He's like a realist, like that's how his brain works. And I'm way more like, look at all the possibilities here. Like I'm a dreamer. Like I have big dreams and big goals, and like that's just kind of always how I've been. And so I just remember even when I was telling him, like, he was like, yeah, like it's a good idea, but like, how does that even work? Like, how are you gonna, because I remember telling him about like, honey, there's like coaches who coach online and they like work from home and they're making like $10,000 a month. Like this, my mind was blown. I was just like, how do I do this? I need to figure this out. Um, and so he was definitely a little bit of a skeptic when I kind of first decided to do this. And I even, when I first started, I think I was like, I was trying to make things work on my own for like 6 months or so. And I think there were definitely times where he was like, okay, yeah, I don't know, like this has been going on for a while, but not really, nothing's happening. Where's that 10K month she told me about? But I'm also the type of person that's like, somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm going to do it, which is
I
why I
feel
was
that.
drawn to Rebellious. Like, that's why, like, we vibe so well too. But so yeah, I definitely experienced a little bit of that. And then even when I was transitioning to, business coaching, business mindset-y type stuff that I'm doing now, it was almost like, okay, but Emily, like you have this like good, successful business already. Like, why are you going to switch? Why are you going to start something new? And like, my mom would be like, oh, but you're so good at the diabetes coaching. Like, especially if there were times where it like felt like things weren't working, I was definitely getting outside pressure to be like, okay, go back to the diabetes coaching. Like, that worked for you. And I even did kind of go back and forth for a little bit just because I wasn't confident in myself enough yet. And I also was getting that outside noise. So I really just had to, I think with both of those situations, like I said, I've kind of always been a person that's like, if I want something, I'm gonna go after it no matter like what it takes. And I even remember getting some like weird DMs and stuff in the beginning when I started my first business of like, who are you to charge money to help people with diabetes? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I just had to learn to like block out the noise and like really listen to myself and my own desires. Because when I was going back and forth deciding between, business coaching and health coaching, I really had to sit down and be like, Emily, what do you want to do? Like, what do you really want outside of like where you think you're going to get clients, where you think your family or your friends are going to support you the most, or like anything. That's when I knew like, no, I really want to help people start their business. Like, that's what really lights me up now. And in the beginning it was the diabetes coaching, but then it kind of transferred over to business coaching. So I think it just all comes back to having to really sit down and ask yourself those questions, like, what do I really want? What, if none of these outside circumstances mattered at all and nobody else's opinion mattered at all, what would I be doing? And that's kind of questions I find myself coming back to a lot when I'm second guessing myself.
Yeah, it is something that we do have to come back to all the time. And I can relate to your journey so much because, and if anybody else has too, please feel free to leave some comments or ask questions because, like, it's challenging to start your business. It's really
Yeah.
challenging. And I started as, my journey was therapist. Then I was doing fitness coaching while I was still working full time as a therapist. Then I was doing empowerment career coaching, helping women get promotions. Then I moved into burnout coaching. And at this point, my business had gotten pretty fucking successful, but I was learning what I wanted and what I didn't want. And I was learning
Yeah.
to tune out all of the noise because I got a
Mhm.
lot of hate when I was doing burnout coaching for social workers during COVID. I would say things sometimes that pissed people off, like maybe
Mm.
losing your job was the best thing that's ever happened to you. And that pissed a lot of people off. And I got a
Yep.
lot of hate, like almost like cancel culture moment for me when I
Yeah.
put that up during COVID. But I believed it. And I had to stand behind that because I don't think that adversity is a bad thing for people. I believe
Mhm.
that it's actually an opportunity when we're faced with these moments of crisis and adversity. And so then I moved into doing mindset coaching for entrepreneurs who are starting their business too, because it's like the hardest fucking thing to do to get your confidence and your energy and your mindset to align with the calling, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, this is the stage for most people, and this is who you're helping, is like with the mindset coaching for entrepreneurs and moms who are looking to lean into their passion to grow something outside of being just a mom. And it's not just a mom, but it's being more than a mom. And
Yeah.
like that's, I think that that's so amazing because we find our purpose when we cultivate our truth. And our truth is our desires and our message and the impact that we came to make. And it can feel really scary to lean into that and start something from
Mhm.
it. So the
Mhm.
fact that you're helping women with this and seeing your own challenges, like it's just so amazing because so many of us need it. Even if we've been doing it for a while, like the mindset coaching, the emotional coaching, the confidence coaching, like all of those things are what actually get people to these high levels of success. Strategy is teaching. I can teach you how to write a piece of content and book a call and then close that
Mhm.
call with a sales script. Like I can teach you how to do that. That's not hard. Anybody can learn how to do that if you're willing to learn. But what really makes that possible is the confidence piece, is believing in yourself, is being able to have the resilient mindset, is being able to stay connected to who you are and what you believe in, tune out the noise. And so that there's even another layer of that when we're moms, which is what today's conversation is about, is that
Yeah.
mom guilt. Is like putting
Mhm.
yourself first, putting the business first. So I would
Yeah.
love to hear, like, for if you wanted to share some advice with women right now who are moms and how that mom guilt might be showing up in their life and how they can navigate that. I would love
Yeah.
to just open up that conversation now because I know so many of us need it.
Yeah, so I think for me, one of the biggest things that I had to realize, and I kind of came to this realization through reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And she talks about how, moms have kind of always been martyrs, right? And like think that they have to be martyrs in order to prove that they're a good mom. Like how much stuff do we see on social media or just in society in general about like, even in like a joking way, which it kind of pisses me off, but it's like, you know, like the mom is like doing all the housework and the packing for trips and like they're thinking about all the appointments and like we're doing everything. It's like everything's on our plate. And then it's like the dad sitting over on the couch. It's like there's like stuff like that in society all the time that just makes moms think that like you have to do it all. And if you're not doing it all, you're a bad mom.
Yep.
And I that is just something like I feel like I've always been kind of good at like not trying to take on all of the tasks of motherhood since the beginning. I mean, it probably helps because I have a partner who's very supportive and helpful too, but I also like grew up with the opposite. My dad was not very involved, so I kind of learned from a young age of like what I did not want in a partner and saw my mom going through. But so I think you have to like get away from this idea that like as a mom doing things for yourself is taking away from your kids or your partner or anybody else. Because the reality of it is that doing things for yourself, whether it is starting your own business, going to the gym, making yourself a healthy meal, or like anything that like makes you happy and makes you feel good, is actually, if you need to think of it this way, is actually you being a better mom for your kids and for your partner. Because if you continue to put everybody above yourself and you never do those things that make you feel good or that you want to do, it's gonna lead to so many feelings of resentment. And I've seen it from my own mom and from friends of mine who have kids too, that they continue to do that. And it's just, it makes you feel so unhappy and so resentful. So it's just a switch of thinking like, okay, me going to the gym today is like, I feel guilty because I have to leave my kids with a babysitter or with my partner or whoever it is. Like, you shouldn't feel guilty about that. You should feel good. You're going, you're moving your body, you're making yourself healthy, you're making your mind healthy so that when you come back to your kids and your partner, you can be a better mom, you can be a better wife, you can feel happy instead of being like, no, I can't do that. I have to like stay home and be with my kids and not leave them. Or like, I feel bad leaving my husband with my kids when he just got home from working all day long. Like I do that. My kids go to daycare part-time. So they're home with me on Tuesday and Thursday, and Tuesday and Thursdays are like my days where I like have to go to the gym because like I've been home with them all day and I'm like, I need to get out of the house. So like as soon as my husband gets home, I'm like, okay, here you go. I'm going to the gym. And like that's just I don't put any emotion behind that. I just do it because I know it's what I need and I know it's what in the end is going to help all of us. So it's really just that shift that you have to make. You have to get out of that thought that doing things for yourself is selfish when in reality it's the most selfless thing that you can do because it's just going to allow you to be a better human being, a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, all of the roles that you have in life, it's going to make you be the best version of that. So that I think is the biggest switch that I feel like I've kind of always been relatively good at. There are times where I feel that way, but I think that's the biggest thing that I see in society as a whole and just even in my own experiences, like I said, with my own family or my own friends or whatever it is, that like this idea of moms doing things for themselves is selfish when in reality it's the least selfless thing that you can do.
Mm, yeah, it's so true, and I agree 1000%. And like, I want to talk a little. You said when you pour into everybody else and you don't make any time for yourself, and you're doing it from a place of guilt or have to, or this is what it means to be a good mom, or this is just what
Mhm.
I've been told I have to do,
Yeah.
then you become very, very resentful at your partner, at yourself, at your children. And resentment is literally refeeling a feeling. So when we think about
Mhm.
resentment, what we're thinking about here is like, I'm refeeling a feeling of like anger or sadness or loneliness or annoyance or irritation or anything like that. So anytime we're refeeling feelings of something, we're recreating that frequency in our life, and then that gets spread out into our relationships because it's how
Mhm.
where we're functioning from. And
Mhm.
so when we think about functioning from a place of like, I have to pour into everybody else and not myself to be considered a good mom, the question I would always ask someone is like, well, why do you think other people need to see you as a good mom? How can
Mhm.
you feel like a good mom? What would make you actually feel like a good mom? Well, I would
Yeah.
feel like a good mom if I didn't yell at my kids when I got annoyed. Okay, amazing. So why are you yelling? Oh, I'm yelling because I'm fucking irritated and I've been with them all day long and I haven't been able to take care of. This is what I hear the most. I haven't been able to work on my business. I haven't been
Yeah.
able to write the piece of content. I haven't had a quiet moment to myself. I didn't get to do my morning routine because I was doing everybody else's shit for them. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, no wonder you're yelling at everyone else because you have literally neglected you all day long. What
Yeah.
does that teach your kids when you're neglecting you all day long? And
Mhm.
then when you're yelling and then you place the shame and the guilt on yourself, or you, whatever it is, or you're tired and you literally can't go to the park and play or do whatever the thing is, then you just recreate more shame and guilt, which just reinforces the pattern. And so, like,
Mhm.
if we're looking at this, the only way to create the lifestyle and have the business and feel compassionate towards your children and give them the love that you want to give and be the mom that you want to give is by setting boundaries. So,
Mhm.
like, what boundaries have you had to set, Emily, in order to not become resentful? Because compassion without boundaries creates resentment. So, what
Yeah.
boundaries have you had to put in order to grow your business and be the mom that you want to be?
Yeah. So I think, part of it is those boundaries that I have just with my own kind of self-care of like when I'm going to the gym, like I'm going. Like that's just it's a non-negotiable. I have to do those things to feel good about myself. And, having conversations with my husband about me having those specific times or whatever it is. Just I think the biggest thing too is that like a lot of people it seems to me that a lot of women don't have a very open line of communication because they fear that like their partner is going to be mad at them or like they're just used to being a people pleaser or like whatever it is. But to me, it's just like anytime, I'm having some sort of issue where I'm like, okay, I need more help with this from my husband or I need more time for myself at this time of day or whatever it is. It's just about like having that conversation with my husband and finding a way to make it work for both of us. So that's always been a big thing, is just like having the boundaries of like when I need to do something, I'm just going to communicate that with my husband so that he can help with the kids or like whatever it is, and I can get that time that I need. But then also just in terms of like social media, I mean, I recently took a break from social media, like a week-long break, because I was getting to a place where I was almost getting obsessive about it and just on it way too much. And I did not have any balance between, trying to run my business and make content and, be in my DMs and commenting back and all those things, and spending time with my kids and my family, or like at night, just like getting on my phone and mindlessly scrolling. So I've had to set some boundaries with social media as well. Like, okay, I'm not going to get on it before 7:30 or 8 in the morning, and I'm going to get off it at like 8 or 8:30 at night, and I'm not going to be on it at dinner time, and just like being much more intentional with the timing, but also like what I'm doing when I'm on social media. Because a big thing too that really made me get in my own head was that comparison trap of like, if I wasn't signing a client, like going on and seeing all these people talking about signing clients and then being like, well, shit, what is wrong with me and my business? Like, what am I doing wrong? And that was a really big, and still is sometimes, but a really big thing that I have to have those strict boundaries with myself. And then I even have some with my kids, like, being a mom running a business, even though my kids do go to daycare part-time, it's like I still want to create content the days that they're home, or like I'm still need to check in sometimes or whatever it is. So I'll like set a timer in the morning. It's like, okay, I'm setting the timer on the stove, 10 minutes. Like, you guys go color. Mommy's going to sit here and make a piece of content. Don't bug me. Like, leave me alone for 10 minutes and then I'll come play with you. No, and it's just like about me being much more intentional with my time. So instead of like being like, okay, I'm trying to play with my kids all day long and I can't feel like I can be on my phone because I want to give them attention, to me, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying about like, what does it mean to you to be a good mom? To me, being a good mom is like, I'm giving them set amounts of undivided attention a day. Even if it's like, 30 minutes, and then the rest of the day might be kind of crazy, or it's 20 minutes or whatever it is. I know if I gave them that, I can feel good about myself, and I know that they feel good too. So instead of trying to like all throughout the day, I have like a minute where I'm like, oh, let me write this caption really quick, or like I'm trying to piece together a piece of content. It's like, no, I'm just going to take 10 minutes in the morning, get it done. And then I can be much more intentional with my kids, and I don't have to be obsessing or like, oh, another thought comes up of like what I wanted to add to that post. It's like, it's all done. It's all, I don't have to worry about it. So, boundaries with my partner, with my kids, and with myself. I think those are like the biggest things as any business owner, but especially as a mom, that like, and those might, specific boundaries within each one of those categories might look different person to person, and they probably will. But I think each of those areas are like really big ones that we have to focus on as
Oh,
moms.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like the thing too, and I just want to offer this to anyone who is like, I don't know if I can do that, or I don't know, like, am I bad for setting boundaries with my kids? I want you to hear this with an open heart of what I'm about to say, and part of it might feel crunchy for you. It might feel like triggering for you. But you being on your kids all day long and giving them all of your attention
Mm,
all day long does not serve them in any way. It is not
mhm,
helpful for them and it's not helpful for you. It's more about you feeling like a good mom than it actually is about providing your children with the space that they need to learn independence and learn how to set their own boundaries. So I've talked to a lot of moms who it's like, I feel so bad because like if I go in my office and work on my work and like I leave them to watch TV for, like an hour and play or whatever, then I'm bad. And the
yeah.
only reason you feel like you're bad is because society has given you the message that you have to be the perfect mom who's like on Pinterest and making fucking homemade cookies every single day with their kid in the kitchen and fluttering around your perfectly clean house, and like
Mhm.
they don't ever touch an iPad. Like
Yeah.
that's not realistic. That's not
Mhm.
real life. Also, I was born in the 80s, so like, they weren't doing it right back then either. But like, it was like, here's a fucking TV. And like, we don't do that anymore because we understand that. But there also needs to be time where kids can play on their own.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I know when Lily got old enough, I would be like, listen, if there's not smoke or fire or blood, like, you don't come in here. Like,
Yeah.
and here's the thing, when you set boundaries with your kids, and you've been someone, because I was that mom who thought she had to be the Pinterest mom and was like literally doing everything, had my job, my internship, my side hustle, and still like making all the things and doing the crafting and doing all the stuff on the weekends and taking the and just like so much to keep up with.
Mhm.
I When I started my business at home, I had to set boundaries with her. It was also during COVID, right? So in
Yeah.
homeschooling, I don't know if y'all remember that shit, but that was like a lot, especially if you
Mm.
had a kid in like elementary or middle or high school. Like, I mean, it's a lot regardless, no matter what age they are, but like that was a challenge. And I
Yeah.
started having to set those boundaries with her because my office was in the living room of our small apartment. And I would be like, listen, like, you're homeschooling. You don't come out of school. That's your office. Like, you're in there,
Mhm.
mommy's out here. And unless there is blood or smoke, you don't come out here. When you set that boundary with kids and they're used to getting your undivided attention, they are also very smart and resourceful. And they will push your buttons and make you feel guilty. They will agitate the mom guilt because they know exactly what they have to do. They'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, but mom, you're not paying attention to me. Or they'll say something that they know will get you because they're smart.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Mhm.
listen, do you want mommy to be happy and be able to do these things with you later on? Do you want mommy to be home and be able to do all the things that we get to do? Or
Yeah.
I could go back to work and then you could be at after school too. Like, there are certain
Yeah.
things, there are certain sacrifices for each type of thing. And right now, mommy needs to work. So I need you to
Right.
respect that and we'll go play afterward. And like,
Mhm.
that's how we set boundaries with our kids. And it doesn't make you a bad mom to spend time working on the things that are going to grow your happiness, grow your bank account, grow space for your family to thrive in. Like, none of that
Right.
is wrong. So I'm so
Right.
happy that you're doing this work with moms, Emily, because it is everything. The mindset and confidence work is everything when growing a business
Mhm.
and learning how to set
Mhm.
these boundaries and build the structures in your own mind and your body and your business to support what you're trying to create as a mom is just
Mhm.
life changing. So if there was one piece of advice that you had to give to new moms who are starting their business, they're like feeling all of these things. They're feeling the mom guilt, they're feeling the overwhelm, they're feeling like they don't even know if they can fucking do it. Like, what would you offer to them right now?
Yeah. Well, I think, I was thinking about this when we decided that we were going to do this, and I was like thinking about something that I go over kind of with all of my clients. And this really started when with my diabetes clients, and it won't make a whole lot of sense if you don't have diabetes, but like with diabetes, you kind of have to get out of, like, you have to look at just the data sometimes and stop feeling like a blood sugar is good or bad because you can get obsessive over it, right? And so I kind of have realized that like this is something that has transferred over into my business and mindset coaching as well, and just life in general. And I termed coined it out of your feels and into the facts. So
Mm,
sometimes you really just have to get out of your head and the way that you're feeling and look at the data, look at the truth, look at what the facts are, right? So like it can be really easy to think that, you know, you should feel guilty or you should feel shame or you should feel like a bad mom for wanting to start a business or focusing on your business or any of these things. But if you get out of your feelings and you look at the facts are that like, okay, you're doing something when you're working on your business, you're doing something that makes you feel good, makes you feel like you have more purpose, like a better human being, and therefore allows you to be a better mom, allows you to, in that next moment of time, be more present with your kids or your family or whatever it is. So sometimes it's really just like, and I used to say this a lot with my diabetes coaching, but it's just like that zoomed out approach. You have to kind of take a step back and almost look at the big picture of things because it's so easy to get And we're all guilty of this, but like, it's so easy to get so wrapped up in your feelings and not look at like what the truth is sometimes. And obviously it's so important to feel your feelings and like be able to work through those and everything. But sometimes our feelings, like, they want to fuck us over. And if we let them, like, they will. And that can happen, by means of it making you feel guilty enough where you decide not to start your business, or you decide not to work on your business, or you decide not to go after the promotion, or whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be about, starting a business or having a business. It's literally everything in life. So I think that that's probably my go-to piece of advice. And I think that you can really almost apply it to pretty much like every area of your life, because your feelings will kind of sabotage you if you let them. And I am, especially after working with you, like, I feel like I'm much more in tune with my feelings and being able to voice them and being able to realize like what my feelings mean and everything. But I have realized too that like sometimes I have to just like get out of my head and look at the facts and look at the truth. And, even if sometimes that means trying to find what the truth is, right? So yeah, I think that's my biggest piece of advice.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so true. Like, we cannot make decisions based off emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, even though subconsciously that's how we're making most of our decisions, we cannot use feelings as facts.
Mm-hmm.
Their feedback. And I am
Mm-hmm.
so happy that you're teaching women that. Even if they just learn that and nothing else from you, it would literally change the entire trajectory of their life. And so
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be able to share this on my feed. If you're watching, if you want to come back and watch the replay, please do that. I would love to hear, like, what was your biggest takeaway? If you have a question for Emily, drop it in the comments.
Yeah.
If you want to know how to connect with Emily, where can they find you? What do you have? I know you have a really cool thing going on. I meant to mention in the beginning, and I totally
Oh, that's
slipped on
okay.
that. But you have this amazing challenge that you're doing with your community, a free challenge with like a Voxer
Mm-hmm.
chat, all these things. It just sounds amazing. So you have a free challenge that you're doing, and tell them the other ways that they can find you and work with you, or do find out more about what you do.
Yeah. So obviously I'm Emily Kirby Coaching here on Instagram. I am doing a free challenge right now. It's called the LDE challenge, or the Last Day on Earth challenge. And this kind of grew out of me talking with Katie and being like, I think I want to do a challenge where, and I don't even know how long I'm going to do it for yet, but at least a week, where I wake up and I treat it like it's my last day on earth. And I said to Katie, not like my last day on earth in the sense of like I'd go empty my bank account and like spend it all, go on a trip to like Greece or something. Like, yeah, that'd be awesome. But like more so in the sense of like, if I knew that like today was my last day on earth and I couldn't necessarily change anything about the way my day was going to happen, like, how would I look at what's happening in my day differently? How would I be more intentional with my time, with who I'm spending my time with, what I'm spending my time on, what I'm even doing with my time? And each day I'm kind of having like a little bit of a different focus. Like yesterday, it was about just being more intentional. Like yesterday, as a day that I was home with my kids, I can often just like kind of roll out of bed and I'm like, what are we going to do today? Not have much of a plan, not really get ready. But I was like, no, today I'm going to be more intentional. I like put my makeup on. I actually got dressed, made some plans of things to do with my kids, and just really tried to be more intentional. And then today I'm kind of focusing on just appreciating like the little things more, and focusing on gratitude. I mentioned this on my story, but like this morning when I was getting my kids ready for school and stuff, I put on like a playlist for them while they're, finishing breakfast or whatever. It's a Cody Johnson playlist. He's a country singer. And after I dropped them off at school, I got back in my car and I was like, like I'm kind of excited to go home and listen to that playlist. Like I was just thinking about it, like, oh, that was like a good playlist. And I change the radio station and a Cody Johnson song comes on. So it's just like those like little things that I normally wouldn't even think twice about, just trying to pay more attention to those. And the fact that like today is a nice day. I live in Maine, so it's like finally getting a little bit warmer and the sun is out, and just like trying to appreciate those things a little bit more. And each day I'm kind of having a little bit of a different focus of like what it is I really want to focus on if this was actually my last day on earth. And yeah, we just kind of have like a little group chat, and I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts and the things that I'm doing, and allowing anybody else that's in it to share theirs and ask questions or whatever it is. And I'm keeping it very like open, and not, I don't want it to feel like it's like something you have to add on to your day to do. It's just something to easily kind of incorporate into your day. So that's my challenge that I'm doing. And then as far as working with me, I'm kind of restructuring my offers right now, but I do have one-on-one coaching available. So that's kind of my main focus. And if you want to know more about that, you can definitely send me a DM and we can kind of chat about what that looks like, and what type of things I could help you with and all of that.
Oh, I love it. The challenge sounds amazing. How can they sign up? Should they just send you a DM?
Yeah, just send me a DM and I can add you into the group chat.
Oh, amazing. She's going to be tagged. If you're watching the replay, she's going to be tagged in the comments below. So don't worry, you'll be able to find her at Emily Kirby Coaching. And I just want to thank you. Like, you are amazing. What you're
Yeah.
doing is, it's going to change, it's going to have a huge ripple effect, and it's going to have a huge ripple effect that changes the world, because when you are helping moms release all of this conditioning, build the minds that they need to bring their desires to life and allow those things to lead them instead of what they think they should do or what they think they have to do, we're going
Mhm.
to have so many women who are liberated as a
Yeah.
result of that. So many women who are liberated from the roles and the conditioning of society, and what it means to be a mom, and what it means to be a woman, and what it means to be a wife or whatever. And
Mhm.
like from there, so much possibility opens up, because women are meant to lead. I know you believe that too. And I'm gonna end on this note because I believe that. And the more women we can help liberate themselves from these conditions and these structures and this societal bullshit, like we're going
Mhm.
to find we have so many more conscious, heart-centered leaders who are making a lot of money too, whether it's for themselves or for other companies if they're working in a place, but just like creating more wealth for more women. And when women have a lot of money, like we change the world because we multiply
Yeah.
everything that's given to us. So I am just so excited to see what you do going forward. Again, if you guys want to connect with Emily, it's at Emily Kirby Coaching, and you can catch all of her challenges. You can talk to her about one to one, and all of her information will be in the caption below. So thank you so much for coming today, Emily.
Thank
It was
you,
absolutely
Katie.
amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you so much.
I love you too, love. All right. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I'll see you next Wednesday for Rich and Resilient Conversations.
Bye.
Okay, that's done. So good. How do you feel?
Hello?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, I
I
can
can
hear
hear
you
you now.
now.
How do you feel?
Good. I felt like